Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to George Jarvis, soon to be competing for the world title against Regian Eersel at One Fight Night 34. This has been brewing for a while. We thought this was coming. You guys were on the same card, right? I was chatting to you both in Bangkok. This has been brewing. What was your reaction when you saw it confirmed? This is what you've been working for, right?
Yeah, for sure. Something that we've been working towards for a long time. A bit of a coincidence that we was both on the same card last time. So, as they say, everything happens for a reason, and we finally got the shot that I believe I deserve, and I'm more than ready. It's not long now. It's coming around very quick, and yeah, I'm buzzing, man. I can't wait, honestly.
I've loved seeing you won championship, not just because I'm British, but you put on great fights and you're not afraid to say what is on your mind or what you want. Before that fight, I think you were quite clear that you felt if you won that you should get a shot at Regian, and that's how it transpired. Have you mapped this all out in your mind for a while now, for a couple of years?
Yeah, 100%. I think since the day I made my debut on One Championship, it was always something that I knew I'd eventually achieve. Whether, I always said, it doesn't matter if it's this year, next year, 5 years. I knew it was always the day was going to come. It was only a matter of time and obviously a matter of getting the opportunity. So it's crazy to think that we're finally here. And if anything, I'm happy of how long it took to get here because then obviously I had that stepping stone experience to get here. But now we are here, then I'm more than ready to take that belt with both hands for sure.
24 years old. How far away are you from your prime, do you think?
Uh, I still don't believe I'm in my prime, if I'm completely honest. I'm getting better every fight. I'm going to stay humble. I'm not going to say I'm the best in the world and the best of what I believe I am right now because I think any good fighter can always admit that there's stuff they need to work on, and that's the beautiful thing about the sport. You never stop learning, and I'm only getting better. But I'm 100% confident in myself and my team that we are ready for this fight, and doesn't really matter what the world thinks. We know what's going to happen, and I'm excited to show everyone or shock everyone if they don't believe it.
What is going to happen? And from the way you're speaking, it feels like you sense you're the underdog.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that Regan has every right to be the favourite in this fight for sure. He's been a champion for a long time. He's beat everyone. He's fought some amazing opponents, but it's my time. And I know it's my time. The people close to me know it's my time, and then it's ready to show the world.
Just how big of a legend, for those who don't know, is Regian Eersel? Because I think he doesn't actually get the love he probably deserves. The man is a proper icon. He should be, he's a modern great, in my opinion. Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. I agree. He was fighting top level on Lion Fight when I was 14, 15 years old. So I hadn't even been a pro. I was still fighting, amateur rules as a junior when he was fighting and taking on the best guys in America. So, I've been watching him for a long time. I've been studying. It's one of them things that, I always knew we might cross paths. So, all these good people in the sport, you always look at them obviously as a bit of a, not, I wouldn't say a fanboy. I wouldn't cry if I met him. But I appreciate that he's doing good things. I appreciate he's good, and obviously same weight. You know what I mean? So I always knew he was going to cross paths, and it's a pinch me moment that we actually finally doing it. Not only for a fight, but for the best belt or the most important belt there is in Muay Thai. So I'm absolutely buzzing, mate.
What was the vibe like in Bangkok? Was there any sort of banter or looks exchanged? Because this has been coming.
Nah, not really. I think we both had a big job at hand. He had a tough fight as well. He fought Alexis Nicholas for his kickboxing that he'd already previously lost. So I think he was very focused on that. Obviously, I was fighting Muslim Chafi, someone that had beat me before. So I think all professional fighters don't do all the dirty talk. There's no need to. Even when we meet in Bangkok on August the 1st, I don't think there'll be any bad talk. He respects me, I hope, and I respect him. And then the best man will take the belt on the night. But there's no need for all this bad talk. I think people only do that when they're a little bit insecure or they're trying to play the game. So I respect him. I'm sure he respects me for everything I've done, and we're ready to get cracking.
Chafi's been let go, is it? Does that just show the level and how ruthless it is at the top?
Yeah, do you know, I was surprised and I wasn't surprised. You got to give the man respect. He's had three fights against three superstars, But he took, I believe he took Simpson at fight on short notice. I think it was like two weeks or 10 days. And let's be honest, he gave him a good fight. Like I think it was a unanimous decision in the end, but it was a very close fight. Then obviously he come back against the Russian, got caught early. But anyone can get caught in them small gloves, and obviously he fought me. I think I showed my level against him. I didn't just knock him down, but I beat him up over 3 rounds. So, but yeah, I feel for him. But like you say, it's a level that this game's at. It can happen to anyone, and you can't stay at the top if you're not one of the best. Let's be honest.
Well, it is harsh. We've seen it. We saw it with Liam Nolan, right? Tried to come back and it didn't go his way. Were you sad to see him go like that? And, is it sad because I think a lot of the UK fight fans wanted to see you two fight? It's a fight that's been building for years and now it doesn't look like we're going to get it.
Yeah, no, listen, I think me and Liam have had our differences in terms of we're the two best boys in the country. He was on the big stage before me, so obviously all eyes was on him. Then, I come out of the woodworks, if you know what I mean. I started achieving good things on one championship. So I'm not going to say he was scared, but he probably got his back up a little bit, thinking, George is coming to take all my limelight. So, and I was, that's exactly what I was trying to do. I wasn't trying to take his limelight, but I was on my own path. And I am a little bit gutted that he's gone a bit downhill now because obviously, like you say, the UK fans have always wanted to see that fight. If one championship ever come to the UK, it was one of them fights that would have been amazing to be involved in. Who knows? It might not happen. It might happen. He might come back and get a few good wins, and it could happen down the line. He's still young. I don't think he's
27.
past it. I think, yeah, there you go. He's 27. So Regian Eersel's 32, I believe, 33. So he could easily make the U-turn, and in a few years we could meet in a big stadium. Who knows? But for now, I think he's going to take a bit of time out, which is probably needed. Just enjoy life a bit. I think he's got his own teaching thing going on. So good luck to him with all that. And then if he comes back, then let's get it cracking. But I've got respect for him. You know what I mean? I won't say I love the geezer. I won't go out on a Friday night and have a few drinks with him. But I respect him for what he's done, and it's my time to go on and do what I've always destined to do.
Could you give us a little bit of a breakdown? We can't look into a crystal ball, but break it down for us. What do you expect in terms of the weapons that you're both bringing to the table, you and Regian?
Yeah, we know Regan. He's very hands on. He's got good. He's more kickboxing style. Let's be honest. He's got good hands. He chops the legs. Good movement. He's a 5 round fighter. He's done it a lot of times. We know he comes fit. He comes ready. He's professional. So I think we know everything about him, but I don't think he knows everything about me. He's only seen me the last year or so, and and everyone knows himself. I get better every fight. So if he thinks he can, pick on my negative stuff over the last few fights, I'm always evolving. So them things that I've done wrong in that fight, I might not necessarily do in this fight. So me and my team are working very hard on that. We're closing all the gaps that he could, catch me out on, and we're fully prepared. We're fully ready. But it's going to be a great fight. I know it's going to be a great fight, and I'm buzzing, as I say.
When I spoke to Liam, he actually picked you to win this fight because he feels that you're more of a pure Muay Thai fighter. Is there something in that?
Well, that's the thing. I'm a Muay Thai fighter. I've done one kickboxing fight against Ricardo Bravo. Actually, really enjoyed it, but I'm not a kickboxer. I'm a good movement. I've got great elbows. I've got good clinch work. I've got good sweeps, and you will see all that come out to play. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but why am I going to stand and trade with someone who wins majority of his fights doing that? And when I've got all this other skill set to take him out, why am I going to go down to having a slugfest with someone who I can beat different ways, if that makes sense? If it comes down to it, then chin goes down and we have to go to work. But the choice or plan A is always to avoid that for sure.
You're very much your own man, but I remember when Haggerty beat Nong O, it was a bit of a landmark moment, right? And you guys have parallels in your career from the same part of the world, same background. Do you see that kind of parallel? After he won that fight, became one of the faces of the promotion.
Yeah, for sure. What John's done not only for himself, but for the whole of the United Kingdom and any foreigner really, like taking out one of the Thais back then. And really, let's be honest, like 99% of people thought John was going to get absolutely blasted. I had hope in him because obviously you always back your own, but it was a very difficult fight for him. And what he done to Nano that night, I don't think anyone was expecting. So that definitely gives me that kind of motivation. That's why I've kind of come out here and just kind of just took a back step from reality in life in terms of working and doing all that. And I've come out to Samui and just really set this fight up how it should be. I don't want to go in there and think, I could have done this, I could have done that. If I go in there and I don't get the nod, then I know I've done everything that I could have to kind of work towards that. I don't want any excuses. I don't want to say I wish I could have. Do you know what I mean? I just want to do everything I can in preparation, go in there and shock the world, man. I can't wait.
Is that the same gym as John that you train at over there? Is that with Jack and
That's right. Yeah, yeah. So we're at Lamai Muay Thai camp in Koh Samui. I'm working with Jack very closely at the minute. He's the brains behind it. Always very good with the IQ terms of stuff. Then obviously I got my team from the UK. My brother Palad Silva, my old man John Jarvis. They were going to come out obviously for the fight as well a little bit before. So yeah, just game planning. We're all working very tightly together for this camp. Got some good training partners coming in, and yeah, it's every box is being filled.
I was excited to see this fight announced. I think it's probably one of the most exciting fights that's been announced. And then it seems like there's a calm before the storm. I feel like some big fights have got to be announced soon. We thought it was going to be Rodtang Haggerty 3. That's what Chatri said he wanted, but that's all gone a bit quiet. And now I'm wondering if it's going to be Nabil, John, because Superlek's still out. What do you want to see? And I've told John I think no one's going to stop Nabil for years, and he just said that's your
Yeah.
opinion. But he does look a bit unstoppable, doesn't he?
Yeah, let's all be honest. Nabil is an absolute animal for not only the age, but for just the size of him and every. It's not even the size of him. He could be a 5'10" fighter and he'll still be an animal. A lot of people put it down to size, but the skill set and the strength and even the power that's coming through now. He is an absolute animal. But I've said this to a lot of people recently. If anyone is going to beat Nabil, it will be Haggy. Right now, I can't see anyone beating him. But if anyone is going to beat him, it will be Jonathan. He's got the aggression, he's got the skill set, he's got a great team behind him, and he's done it before, isn't he? He's beat Nongo. He's shocked the world many times. So who says he can't do it again?
I think that's a very, very wise assessment. I kind of agree with you. But I just want to ask you, as someone who loves the sport, Superlek looked totally off that night and Nabil looked fantastic. But, we found out, Superlek wasn't well, he's carrying injuries. So that's got to be settled. We have to find out, was Superlek having an off night or is there a changing of the guard? What do you think?
Yeah, personally, I think Super Leg, obviously, he deserves a rematch there. But, you can't. The thing I don't like about fighting is with the rematches, it slows down everything. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I had a bad night. That means we got to run it back. Then 3 months later, the person who really should have got the fight is waiting for that to happen. So I think, like, whether they've had a bad night or they're injured, the show must go on. So really, even if they done, Haggerty versus Nabil and the winner comes back to Super Leg that way round, I think a lot more people would rather watch that than Super Leg go back again. They've fought twice already. Super Leg and Nabil. Yeah, so I think give Haggerty the shot or give Nabil the shot. Haggerty, whatever way you want to put it, and then go back and deal with Super Leg after for sure.
And then the other man, Rodtang, what do we do with him? Because, I mean, the photo of Rodtang and Nabil just looks like Japan
Nah,
in
yeah,
2003. Like it looks like the old school kind of MMA day.
literally. Rise. Was it called
Yeah,
Rise? Was it?
Pride,
Yeah,
Pride. Yeah, but
Pride. That's it. Pride. Yeah.
would that ever happen? I mean, and then I think the fight everyone wants to see really is Superlek Rodtang, but they're really, really good friends. So I think the paycheck would have to be quite significant.
Yeah, can you imagine? Bloody hell.
So
But
what
yeah,
should we
no,
do with Rodtang?
I think Jonathan was there was I think a few talks about Jonathan fighting Rotang, but I think Rotang only wanted certain. I think he wanted the kickboxing, and Jonathan wanted the Muay Thai, something like that. I can't remember the exact ins and outs, but I think if Rotang comes up to bantamweight, it's going to be it's going to be a tough match work. There's no need for Jonathan to go down to flyweight. He's done that before. He's already beat Samay at that weight. And he's a big boy now. He's put on a bit of muscle. I won't say fat, because he'll probably start me. But yeah, you know what I mean. He's grown up. He's matured. He's a bit older now. So there's no need for him to go back down. There's enough good boys at bantamweight, as we know. So if it's going to happen, it's going to be at bantamweight. And personally, that's a long night for Rotang, just because of the size. Rotang is Rotang, but when you're fighting someone that much bigger, it's already a massive advantage.
Lots to look forward to. Can't wait for your fight, man. It's going to be special. Good luck to you with all the preparation. Enjoy some Muay. Yeah,
Thank
nice
you,
one.
bro. I appreciate it. Thank you.